In our society, one of the biggest milestones in a person's life is when they decide to pursue higher education. University offers new experiences, a chance to make new friends for life, and a clean slate for those looking to start over after an unpleasant school experience. And, of course, it provides individuals with the tools they need to pursue their dream jobs. But for some people, they never have that opportunity, as their lives are tragically cut short before they even graduate. In today's episode, we'll be exploring 3 horrific unsolved cases involving university students. But first, I'd like to thank Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's episode. The internet is an immensely important tool for us at Cold Case Detective, where the majority of our research takes place. It provides us with access to news and information, a place to share all of our documents and data, and various streaming platforms to find valuable wisdom on the topics we are covering. The problem is, sometimes that critical documentary isn't available in the country we're located, and public Wi-Fi leaves us concerned about sharing files across easily accessible servers. Luckily, with Surfshark VPN, those concerns are completely solved. Surfshark VPN is an unparalleled virtual private network with unbelievably protective perks and easy-to-navigate security features meant to mask your online activity. All of your internet browsing, including where you're doing it from, is withheld via military-grade encryption to prevent people from snooping in. This allows you to share files safely, access your bank accounts, and feel confident wherever you are, even when using shared Wi-Fi. Surfshark VPN also allows you to change your location in real time to one of many servers found all over the globe. This means that if a certain film or documentary we need for research is unavailable in our country, we can simply travel to a different part of the world via Surfshark and access that media in a matter of seconds. It's a seamless process with zero risk attached. Surfshark VPN also includes a no-strings-attached, no-logs policy, meaning your data will never be collected or sold no matter what. You can also enjoy the peace of mind of their cookie pop-up blocker and clean web initiative, where millions of phishing scams and malicious websites are automatically blocked at your convenience. Sign up for Surfshark VPN using the link in the description below and enter promo code COLDCASE for 83% off and an extra 3 months for free. The internet is an unpredictable place. Use the tools at your disposal to make it secure. Anne Harmeyer. 20-year-old Anne Harmeyer left her home in Cambridge City, Indiana, on the morning of September 12, 1977. A drama student at Indiana's University Bloomington campus, she planned to make the drive there bright and early, but then failed to attend any of her classes that day. Her tutors and friends did not appear to immediately note her disappearance. It was her mother, Marjorie, who became worried when she didn't receive her usual evening phone call from her daughter, and subsequently discovered that Anne hadn't been in class. The following day, the police discovered the 20-year-old's vehicle, a rust-colored Pontiac Lemons, abandoned about 2 miles north of Martinsville, Indiana, on the shoulder of State Road 37. It was locked with a dead battery and a malfunctioning thermostat. The car's hazard lights had been on prior to the battery dying, while Anne and her handbag were both missing. Her suitcase, however, remained, and investigators found no signs of a disturbance or struggle around the vehicle. After Anne's Pontiac was found, authorities carried out extensive searches of the immediate area. Word of her disappearance hit both local and nationwide news outlets, but leads trickled in at a snail's pace. The next day, law enforcement, aided by volunteers, searched Morgan Monroe Forest, although they found nothing. 6 people traveling along State Road 37 reported seeing Anne, although the details of the sightings are unknown. In the days following her disappearance, flyers were passed out, helicopters were utilized, and city residents raised funds for a reward. At the end of September, a petrol station employee who was working near Martinsville reported seeing someone fitting Anne's description with 6 other people around her age, 3 men and 3 women. The witness recalled that Anne was in a vehicle described as an old green or grey Chevrolet with a McCracken County license plate. The police showed the witness Anne's photo, but they were unable to positively identify the young woman they saw. On October 18th, just a month after her car was located, a farmer stumbled across Anne's body. She was lying in a cornfield around 4 miles from the site of her vehicle, and her body bore signs of sexual assault. She had been gagged with a rag and bound. Her red Indiana University t-shirt, a blindfold, handbag, and a bank book with her name on it were all found nearby. Her cause of death was strangulation, with the police noting that the crime had been committed by a, quote, tourniquet fashioned from a shoestring and a hairbrush, both of which belonged to Anne. Her identity was confirmed using dental records. Over the next few years, several suspects were identified and considered. An individual named Stephen Judy was arrested and convicted for the demise of Terry Lee Chastain and her 3 children in 1979, and he confessed to numerous other crimes before his 1980 execution. Several of his victims were killed via a garrote made up of their own belongings, but Judy denied being involved in Anne's death. Furthermore, police records showed that he was behind bars at the time of her disappearance. Another suspect was Jeffrey Hand. In 1980, Hand was shot and killed by police in Howard County, Indiana, as he attempted to abduct a woman from her car. In 2019, he was linked to a 1972 murder using DNA, although he has never been concretely connected to Anne's case, and it's unknown if any DNA was recovered from her vehicle, body, or belongings that could be used for comparison. In February of 1978, a sketch was created after investigators spoke with a possible witness traveling along Egbert Road around the time of Anne's death. The man in the sketch was seen driving a compact car on the night of her disappearance, near where her body was discovered, and he is wanted for questioning. He is described as being in his mid to late 20s, of average height and weight, clean-shaven, and with sandy or light brown collar-length hair. He has still not been identified. Anne's family, in particular her cousin, Scott Burnham, is still looking for answers. The family have been denied access to her case record for years, and most recently, in 2019, it was ruled again they would be denied access because the investigation is still ongoing. Anne's case is still unsolved. If you have any information about her death, you can contact the Indiana State Police at 812-332-4411. Kimberly McAndrew. 19-year-old Kimberly Ann Marie McAndrew was a Dalhousie University student at the time of her disappearance in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. On Saturday, August 12, 1989, at 4:20 p.m., Kimberly left her cashier job at the Canadian Tire store on 6203 Quinpool Road. She had been allowed to leave her job early as she planned to attend the Halifax Busker Festival with some of her friends and family, and would be picked up from her home at 5 p.m. The only thing Kimberly had at the time of her disappearance was her work bag, and her apartment was just a 15-minute walk from the store and contained all of her belongings, suggesting she never made it back. She has never been seen or heard from since leaving Canadian Tire. After she went missing, there were several unconfirmed sightings of the 19-year-old. One witness placed her taking a bus to Penhorn Mall in the nearby city of Dartmouth, while a worker at the Gardenia flower shop in the same mall believed they had seen Kimberly purchasing a balloon and a rose. However, a retired investigator who worked on the case does not believe that these sightings were of the student. Instead, he believes something happened to her in the car park of her workplace, noting, "She was not adventurous, and for her to go to Dartmouth on her own would have been an adventure, and that's just not what Kim would have done when she had plans that evening." Kimberly's father, Cyril, was an officer with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and spent the majority of his life searching for her until his death in 2004. Her younger sister, Megan, believes she was abducted and murdered. She didn't believe Kimberly left of her own volition because she loved company and disliked going anywhere alone. Tom Martin, the retired investigator, also stated that Kimberly, quote, wasn't hanging with a bad crowd and wasn't involved in criminal activity, making her disappearance all the more unusual. In the years since Kimberly vanished, 2 men have been named as potential suspects. Andrew Johnson is a convicted child sex offender who spent time behind bars in British Columbia for molestation, rape, and physical and sexual assault. He was previously a chef and Coast Guard employee, but was jailed in 1997 after attempting and failing to abduct 3 different children, all 12-year-old girls, by using a fake police badge. His family resided in Nova Scotia, and he expressed a desire to return to the area in 2021 when he was being considered for parole. Johnson is also considered a suspect in several other killings, including the 1992 murder of Andrea King and the death of Stephen Michael Hall, whose body was recovered in a wooded area of Chester in 1996. In March of 2013, his brother's home, located in Shad Bay, Nova Scotia, was searched for 4 days in relation to Kimberly's case, but nothing was found. The other possible suspect is a serial killer named Michael Wayne McGray, who was convicted of 7 murders carried out between 1985 and 1998, and was on the loose in the area when Kimberly went missing. He does not recall if she was one of his victims. Kimberly's bank account has remained untouched since she went missing, and leads in her case are few and far between. Kimberly was just 19 when she vanished after leaving her workplace, a Canadian tire store on Quinpool Road in Halifax, on August 12, 1989. She is described as a white woman with a tanned complexion, blonde hair, blue eyes, and a slight scar on the bridge of her nose. She stands between 5'3" and 5'5". She wore braces at the time of her disappearance and weighed between 110 to 134 pounds. When she vanished, Kimberly was wearing navy slacks, a white E-Spirit t-shirt with red and green squares, an oversized navy cardigan, and jade green flat-heeled loafers. The government of the province of Nova Scotia is offering a reward of up to $150,000 for anyone with information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for Kimberly's disappearance. If you have any information on her case, you can contact the Halifax Regional Police at 800-222-8477. Judy Martins. 22-year-old Judy Martins was described as a sociable and involved member of campus life, being both a dormitory advisor and a volunteer counselor at the campus's Pregnancy Information Center. She had plans to visit New York with 2 of her friends for Memorial Day weekend and was generally thought to be in good spirits, but then she vanished. Judy was last seen at the Kent State University campus in Kent, Ohio, on May 24, 1978. She had previously enrolled in Ohio University before being transferred to Kent State and was majoring in art and minoring in women's studies. At the time of her disappearance, Judy was a junior and was, by all accounts, an excellent student with ambitions of becoming a therapist. At around 2:30 a.m. on the morning of May 24th, she was seen walking from her friend's dormitory building, Dunbar Hall, to her own, Engelman Hall. This was the last time that she was seen alive. Despite the fact that Engelman Hall was just 300 yards and a 4 to 6 minute walk from her friend's dorm, authorities believe that the 22-year-old never made it back to her room. As she didn't have a roommate, however, she was not reported missing until the following evening, and a further 24 hours passed before her parents were notified about her disappearance. The investigation initially stalled because most of the students had left the campus, as it was Memorial Day weekend. Detectives noticed that many of Judy's belongings, including her money and glasses, were left behind. Her parents noted it was unusual of her to leave behind her makeup and glasses if she was going out. There was some speculation that the 22-year-old was upset as she had recently split up with her boyfriend of 5 years, but her loved ones argued that the two were still friendly and she did not appear to be deeply devastated and was, instead, content with her life. Her boyfriend later passed a polygraph test, and her family does not believe he was involved. 2 years after Judy went missing, a sex worker named Judy Martinez was booked into the Cuyahoga County Jail. She gave Judy Martin's birth date as her own and looked very similar to the 22-year-old, Both Judy's brother and father did not believe Martinez was their missing loved one, but Judy's mother, on the other hand, was confident that she had been reunited with her lost daughter. The supervisor on the case, Kent State University Police Chief John Peach, told the family Martinez was a drug user and looked like she'd aged 100 years. He told her parents that Martinez had said, quote, "Judy Martins is better off dead." As Judy's fingerprints were not on file, her dental records were used to confirm a match. However, the two women were determined to be different people. In the 44 years since Judy's disappearance, there was only one potential suspect named in her case. William John Posey Jr. was using the name John T. Scorpion in 1978 and lived just 10 minutes from campus. In 1980, Posey pled guilty to the abduction and murder of an unarmed Illinois woman, and, while terminally ill in 2008, confessed to abducting and killing Iris Brown, who vanished from Vermont in 1976. Her body has never been recovered. There is some speculation that Judy's case was not widely reported on, discussed, or even properly investigated because authorities and the university did not want to attract negative publicity. Since the Kent State shootings in 1970, enrollment was supposedly down, and the police had a less than stellar reputation at the time. Judy's parents are now deceased. As of 2018, her siblings, Nancy and Steve, are still searching for answers. Their parents had total faith in law enforcement and were afraid that hiring a private investigator would make the police mad, so they never searched independently for their missing daughter. Nancy recently stated that she believed investigators had assumed Judy had left on her own and purposefully stopped contacting the family. The siblings have submitted their DNA in case Judy is a Jane Doe waiting to be named. Judy's case is still unsolved. She was 22 when she vanished from the Kent State University campus in Kent, Ohio, on May 24, 1978. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5'4" and weighed 120 pounds, and was wearing a brown and yellow plaid gauze blouse, a beige trench coat, blue denim culottes, a brown belt, a ring on her right index finger, large sunglasses, and possibly a curly red Halloween wig and brown boots. She carried a white faux leather bag. She is described as a white woman with black hair and hazel eyes, and is known to wear eyeglasses, although they were left behind in her room when she vanished. If you have any information about her disappearance, you can contact the Ohio Attorney General's office at 330-627-3070. And there you have the facts. Please leave a comment down below with your own thoughts and speculations, and remember to like this video and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching. Stay alert, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.